Sure enough, definitely boy parts there. Sorry to be crude, but I mean, this is a pregnancy update. Sometimes they venture into the TMI. Hey guys, it's Angel and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to do my 29-week update, and we're gonna talk about how I'm feeling about the gender. All right guys, I am 29 weeks. I'll probably be closer to 30 weeks by the time you see this video, because that's usual. It's just who I am as a person. Anyway, so I am in the third trimester officially for a while now, and things are still going pretty well. So far, I have gained about 4 or 5 pounds total. I haven't gained any since the last, or actually, I think I gained 1 pound since the last update, but I haven't gained any in about 3 or 4 weeks. I had the growth scan at 28 weeks and everything was perfect. The placenta looked perfect, the fluid levels were perfect, the cord insertion and cord blood flow and all of that was perfect. His growth was totally normal and average. He's still around the 70th percentile, so he's a little bit on the bigger side, but I make big babies, so I'm not surprised by that, but he's still within the realm of average and normal at that size, so he's not growing too much yet, which is good because that is definitely a risk with gestational diabetes. Everything about the ultrasound was within average or normal range, so it went very, very well. And she printed out a couple of cute pictures of his little face, which I'll show you right here. His little face, he looks so much like Cal. He actually looks like a really good cross between the two of them and what they look like in their ultrasounds. So I'm really excited to see what his face looks like when he's born. So speaking of he, obviously it's a boy. If you haven't seen our gender reveal video, I know I just spoiled it for you, but I'll put it in the iCard and the description so you can go and watch that. I think it turned out really cute. I had this vision of how I was gonna do it since I found out I was pregnant. I really love how it turned out. The kids really love how it turned out. Anyway, go ahead and watch that if you haven't already, because I think you'll enjoy it and it's not very long. But anyway, yes, he is a boy. And so I know people are probably wondering how I feel about that. Am I disappointed by that or not? I think it was just very surreal for me because I've never found out like that before. The first two I found out in the ultrasound room. So it was really a different experience to find out as a surprise along with everybody. And I did not have any idea if he was a boy or a girl, so it was just really surprising. So it was just very surreal for me for a while for it to like really sink in, and especially since I didn't see with my own 2 eyes. I have a pretty good eye for ultrasounds and I can tell between boys and girls usually. And so for me, with the first 2, I could see it right there with my own 2 eyes. So I totally believed them and it just made it a lot more real. And this time I didn't see it in the ultrasound and she didn't print out a picture and put it in the envelope either. So it just felt really weird because I, didn't see it myself. So it felt weird for that to sink in. And I just was really surprised. I don't know. I didn't think he was a girl, but I also didn't expect him to be a boy. I was definitely not disappointed. I don't really feel totally disappointed now either, now that it's sunk in more. And I have since seen it for myself. When I had my growth scan last week, I asked her, he's a boy, right? And she showed me, and like, sure enough, definitely boy parts there. That is without question. It's really bittersweet for me though. Kaladin definitely wanted a brother, so he has been over the moon excited. I'm super happy! Justin, he was hoping to have another son. So of course, they're both totally happy and not at all disappointed. My daughter really wanted a sister really bad. Luckily, in the moment of finding out and much of the time since, she's still really excited. Can you tell? Although every now and then she'll say, I want it to be a girl, I want it to be a sister. I'm like, sorry, I can't change that. It kind of is hard for me to navigate that with her being disappointed a little bit sometimes. I think once he's here and it's kind of more real and sinks in for her, I don't think it will be a problem. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is the main thing is I just feel bad for her because I know she really wanted a sister and I really wanted to give that to her, and so just the reality of that's never gonna happen. I didn't grow up with a sister, and so it's kind of a little bit disappointed that I'm not going to be able to give my daughter a sister. And really, I think I've thought a lot about it. I think what it really comes down to is, since I was totally happy either way, I didn't really prefer one over the other, then that means that no matter what the result was, then I'd also be a little bit disappointed either way, because I wanted both another son and another daughter, and I can't have both. I can only have one. So I'm quite sure I'd probably feel the exact same way if it was another girl instead. It would just be in reverse. I'd feel sad about not giving Cal a brother and not having another son. So I think that's really what it boils down to. Is if I was hard pressed to pick one or the other, I think I wanted a boy slightly more than a girl, but it was pretty even, and that's why we didn't try to sway at all or anything. We just left it up to chance. But just that the finality of knowing I'm never gonna have another daughter, it's bittersweet for me. So I'm really happy about another son. I'm really excited about another son. There's a lot I'm looking forward to with it, and I'm just really excited that he is who he is. He's who we were meant to have. It's what God's plan was for us. It's what's meant to be for our family, and I'm fully embracing that. And I think, again, a lot of these feelings are tied to just being the last baby. So that's a little bit sad, but I am also looking forward to being done and just having a complete family and moving on to a new phase in our life, and eventually not having to do pregnancy and birth and babies, because they definitely have challenges of their own. I feel like every phase of life has a challenge, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when you have all big kids, and how that's going to change our life. Not experiencing gender disappointment per se, probably more of just mixed feelings about the last baby more than anything. And I know that I will continue to have these feelings as the pregnancy goes, as the birth happens, as his first year happens. Every time I have to put away clothes that he grew out of and just be like, I'll never have a baby that small again. I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot more of these kind of feelings over the next couple of years, but overall I'm excited about a son. But I have no idea what to name him. Oh my gosh, this has been such a challenge. We have mulled over so many names, and we're just running into the same thing we did with Kaladin, where just none of them sound like the one. Even ones that we really like a lot, none of them jump out as the one. Kerrigan, we picked her name so many years before we had her. I was just kind of scared to commit to it once I knew she was a girl, because of how we had so much trouble committing for Kaladin. And if someone would have pushed us to pick a name for him before he was born, we would have picked one of the others. Like, it would not have been Kaladin, and none of those other names we were considering fit him at all. So it kind of worried me, like, but what if she's not really a Kerrigan? What if it doesn't fit her? But again, with this one, I have no idea. None of them sound like his name to me. So, and I have the added pressure of the possibility that Justin won't be there, and I'm gonna have to basically pick on my own. Hopefully, if he is out at sea, he'll still have good internet so I can get in touch with him, and so we can decide together. But I just feel like it's just so much pressure, because I might have to do it on my own, because Kaladin and Kerrigan's names are so perfect for them, and it's just a lot of pressure to pick a third name that's perfect for a third child. Just so much. So I really hope that I can find the right name for him, because it's a lot. It's hard sometimes to pick baby names, because it's so important and they're stuck with it their whole life. So hey, if you have any baby boy names that you really like, go ahead and leave them down in the comments for me. I need all the help I can get. Any ideas, please, especially names that are more rare and unique, because their last name is so common. We do try to avoid very common traditional names or very popular names. So much pressure. Speaking of pressure, a new symptom this past week was I've been having so much pelvic girdle pain. I'm not sure yet if it's SPD, which I think is symphysis pubic dysfunction or something like that. So much pain. Oh my gosh, it basically feels like someone kicked me in the crotch. Like, sorry to be crude, but I mean, this is a pregnancy update. Sometimes they venture into the TMI. It really honestly feels like someone kicked me in the crotch, and to varying degrees. So sometimes it's just a very vague, dull achiness, like maybe someone kicked me a few days ago and I'm still a little bit sore. And sometimes it's pretty sharp and pretty intense where it feels like someone maybe just kicked me a few minutes ago. And sometimes it's more in like my sacrum or like tailbone where it feels like maybe someone swung a baseball bat at me back there. It's just very uncomfortable. It's hard. A lot of times it hurts to even sit. But it especially hurts to stand and walk around, so that's made it hard to function for sure. So far it isn't too severe, so I can still kind of get by, but I'm hoping it doesn't get a lot worse because I mean he's only 2 or 3 pounds right now, so he's gonna grow a lot more, and I'm kind of worried about how much more it's gonna hurt as he gets bigger and drops further down into my pelvis. Fingers crossed that it still stays manageable and doesn't veer into the very severe category. Some people end up like on crutches and bed rest and like really bad, and I don't have the time for that. I can't do that. I have to solo parent for like a lot of the rest of this pregnancy. Yeah, like Justin's only gonna be here for less than 3 weeks that's left of this pregnancy, and I still have a lot of pregnancy to go that I'm gonna have to be on my own. So I really need my body to cooperate as much as possible. So speaking of the gestational diabetes, still going pretty smoothly. I haven't needed to increase my insulin. My blood glucose is still pretty well controlled, like 99% of the time. So that's good at least. My blood pressure is still behaving, so that's good at least. And you know, he moves a lot now. It's definitely nice to not have to worry about him as much anymore because the first trimester was so hard. We really thought that we were gonna lose him. Actually, you know, I don't really want to get into that today. Especially this is already getting kind of long, so I think I'm gonna make that in a different video. For now, I kind of want this one to be a little bit more on the positive side because that was a very stressful and emotional and hard time for us, and it was a huge reason why we switched to TRICARE standard and switched to a new doctor, and I kind of want to go more into depth with that decision too. So I think the next video I'll talk more about that. I also plan to make a video a little bit more in depth about gestational diabetes, how I was diagnosed and why I was tested so early, and what it's like to live with it, because I know I had friends who had it, but I didn't really have any idea what it was like until I was here. But I've learned a lot about it, and I think that it would be beneficial to share kind of information I've found, because I feel like there's a lot of people even who have it who don't really understand it very much, and that's because doctors don't even really understand it very much. There's still a lot of unknowns about it, and there's not really set protocols and guidelines between doctors. They have different ways that they do things, different, you know, ways that they manage it can vary a lot because there isn't really anything that's real set yet. They're still all kind of trying to figure it out as they go, and that's really daunting for sure. There's not as much well-established evidence-based care for gestational diabetes as there is for other aspects of pregnancy. You know, I'm definitely one to do a lot of research and to share information when I learn a lot about something, because I appreciate it when people share information with me about things I want to learn about. So it's kind of one of the things I love about YouTube and why I do what I do is I like to give back and share knowledge that I have. So I definitely want to make a video all about all the stuff that I've learned and just kind of showing what it's like to live with it. It definitely sucks, but it also doesn't suck as much as I thought it would. So hopefully that gives people some hope. But yeah, we're doing okay. So far so good. The midwife's mantra has been, it's normal till it's not. And so that's kind of what I'm going off of, is there's just so many unknowns and so many things that can go wrong over the next few weeks. And instead of panicking about that and stressing about that, I just want to keep on going as if it's normal until it's not. So I'm going to take good care of myself as best as I can and kind of hope that this is going to be as normal of a pregnancy as possible, even in spite of being high risk. until things happen that make it not normal. But for now, it's pretty normal since the blood sugar is well controlled. Everything else is fine, so nothing is wrong right now. We just have to monitor very closely and just be very intentional about staying healthy. So I have to, you know, be very strict with my diet and, you know, taking medicines and supplements and tinctures and things to try to manage this. So far so good. I'm hoping it can continue to go this smoothly till the end. I really hope it doesn't get really stressful at the end like it did the last 2 times with the hypertension. I'm hoping to avoid that this time. So fingers crossed. But for now, we are healthy, we are good, we are growing well. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and do that bump shot. So again, I am not going to show you my bare belly. Just a comfort level, just kind of a boundary that I want to keep with this pregnancy. I've noticed that YouTube is kind of iffy about women showing their bare pregnant bellies for some reason, to avoid any potential issues with YouTube and also to try to stave off creepers. I just don't feel comfortable with showing it, but you can still see pretty well with this shirt how things are coming along and how my belly is growing. So there you have it. And that's my 29-week bump date and my thoughts and feelings about gender and the last baby. Again, please tell me baby boy name ideas. I really need them. That was quite a long update, so I appreciate you for sticking with me. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of those future videos that I talked about. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bye.